what is the role of perception in creating my personal brand? What is the role of perception?
Perception, I like that. So perception is two things. It's linked to your impression. The first understanding of perception is, how do people perceive you with their five senses? How do they interact with you? Which is basically your first impression. When you talk, when you walk, when you speak, when you behave, when you act, how are they engaging with you as a person to create that perception, that first impression? But the second aspect of perception, which I think is super important to this question, the role of perception in creating my personal brand, is the last impression. How is what you have curated in the first impression, how is that understood and interpreted? Because we could be several of us in a room, and I'll walk into a room, I'll say a few things, behave in a certain way, and walk out. How you will interpret my activities, how the person next to you will interpret my activities, how the next person will interpret my activities might all be different. So for me, it really has it's really based on how am I deliberate on making sure that you understand what I want you to understand about me, as opposed to just giving you the face value first impression.
So is it being deliberate about what I communicate?
Yes, being extremely deliberate about what I communicate, because interpretation and understanding. Let me back it up. Communication is the process of sending and receiving messages whereby two or more people achieve understanding. So if I send a message by how I'm dressing, or if I send a message by how I'm behaving, or and so on, then you will receive that message, and you then have a choice to either give me feedback or absorb it, understand it, interpret it in a certain way, and then make a judgment or decide how you're going to treat me based on that. Because your personal brand, again, is what people say about you when you're not there. So if I'm deliberate about making sure that if I walk into this room, the person that I want to impact with my personal brand the most is Connie, and not that person and not that person, then I must be super deliberate about making sure that I give Connie the right message, and I'm deliberate about making sure that Connie understands and interprets exactly what I want her to understand, so that there's no misunderstanding in terms of the brand that I want her to be left with. The last impression, the image in her mind. I want you, when I walk out of this room, to have something in your mind about me. And regardless of what the other people are thinking, my target, and again, your personal brand has to be targeted to a particular group. My target is Connie, so I want Connie to have a certain image about me. So I'm going to communicate, behave, and react in a certain way so that Connie can take that and now use it for her benefit. For the rest, whatever it is that they take from that, they're not my target. My target is Connie.
So basically, perception is equals to communication.
100%.
So I have a question. What if I'm a young millennial and I'm like, what do I need perception, communicate? How does this apply to me? Why do I even need it?
Because
first of all, and I'm also talking about millennials also who are probably in a creative field. They're like, do I need all this?
Right.
Yeah.
Millennials, and even now these Gen Xers and people who are Generation Ys and people who are born like and have grown up in the 2000s and so on. These people have grown up around technology, and so everything is very fast. Very perception is is literally minute by minute, second by second, day by day, and so you need to be very clear who is your target. Who are you trying to influence? Who are you trying to communicate to? So that as much as you're going to be putting out content which is diverse, which is regular, which is frequent, make sure that it is hitting the right note with the right people. So if you're fresh out of university and you're looking for a job, who are you targeting? Is it the people who will hire you? Is it the people who will give you the opportunity to get hired? Is it the people who will give you the mentorship to get you the opportunity to get hired? Are you looking for a mentor? Are you looking for a job? Are you looking for a career? So if you know exactly who you're targeting, then your content, your communication, and your messaging needs to be targeted to those specific people, which means you need to study your audience, study who you are targeting. Make sure that you can put yourself in their shoes to understand what is it that they want to see and hear, so that you can give them what they want to see.
So there's a lot here. So I'm seeing as we round this up, perception is equals to communication.
Yes.
There's knowing and understanding your target market, and being aware of your target market is a key thing.
Absolutely. First impressions are good, last impressions are better.
Perfect.